So our chapter tonight is chapter 10, and it was on the oilability follow-up system. So I really like this because I feel like this is probably an area that I struggle. There she is. Hey, Sherry. So yeah, follow-up for me is important because I feel like that's probably an area that I so what were the 3 types of people that you encounter when you do follow-up?
The person, and this hardly ever happens, but the person that like doesn't want anything to do with you. They just randomly came to your class and now they want nothing to do with you.
Yeah, that never happens. But it did happen.
Yeah, but that's the person that we're always worried will happen.
But that happened.
Lindsay froze. Oh. Did it?
Well, remember we had that little checkbox, like if you ever call me at your house, and we had somebody check that. So it's like, all right, they just want.
I don't think they read that right. Nobody would say that. That's just awful. I think they misread it.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
So yeah, the people that are like, absolutely leave me alone, never call me. What's the next kind of person?
And those people you just want to stay away from anyways. It's not like you want to keep trying to catch up with them. You know? It's like, okay, I can, you know, pick up the cues. You know, we're moving on.
Yeah. And then the other end of the spectrum would be what? What would be the other end? Not the leave me alone. What's my internet done again? Can y'all hear me?
Has to show them that they need it. However, my first question isn't when can you afford it? When do you get paid? Because obviously that's counterproductive. But her first question is if you could wake up without one thing tomorrow, you know, a feeling of frustration, stiffness, anything, what one thing would that be? So I really like that's how she kind of deals with that. And then she like goes out of her way to deliver them something to personally try. It's like, okay, they came to the class, they smelled the oils, they kind of got to experience it. Well, now she's like kind of personalizing it and say, okay, hey, you have this need, you have this problem, I'm going to bring you something to help with that. So, I mean, that's awesome. I've never done anything like that.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It is. And I mean, that's just really showing that you care too, you know? I mean, it's not all about Facebook messages and texts, and then that's the end. We don't ever do anything personal. So I really like that she really kind of steps out.
Yeah, I liked that too. I thought it was really good.
All right, Lindsay, you take over. I don't like this.
I don't know what section we're on. We're on the.
Oh, well, we answered the question with the 3 different kinds of people.
Okay. Well, you talked about those next couple ones when you were going over that anyway. The people that aren't interested, we move on and never contact them again. The people who say they can't afford it, you just talked about. So, you know, what would you want to wake up without? And then meet them where they are. And she said what they're really telling you when they say they can't afford it is, I don't know if I need this.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really good because, I mean, I know that's true, but that's the question that everybody has is, yeah, it sounds good, but I don't know if I need it. They're skeptical. And so when she drops off something for them to try, that's a great idea. All right, so the Hinkerkopf method of getting in touch with people after class. What was that method? You guys, did you find it?
Was that the 3-10-30 thing?
No, that was
No?
Seacrest.
What's your question, Lindsay?
It's the next set of blanks on 43 in the workbook.
Oh, whoops. I'm not in the workbook. I'm in the regular book.
Me too. I was so confused.
I'm like, I don't know what we're doing.
Oh,
Okay.
well, there we go.
Oh, I didn't fill this out. I need to go back and do this.
Okay. Well, the answer is going to be at the bottom of page 106 in the real book. And so what she said was that the Hinterkopf
Oh, yes.
was having trouble getting in touch with people, which I
Yes, and that happens all the time, especially with you, Lindsay, right?
all the
You
time.
do try to follow up, and you just get voicemail and then never hear from them again.
Lots and lots of voicemails. And so what they do is they schedule a follow-up conversation right when they sell their kit.
I think that's so smart.
Yeah, so they have an appointment set, and but here's the good thing. They tell them that they're going to show them how to use the diffuser so it won't get damaged. They tell them how to use their oils and the benefit of Nature Red, and then they teach them how to look things up. So we're assuming at this point that they have a reference guide, or maybe even walk them through the Joyfully Infused website. You know, we've got a lot of information there, and a lot of resources can be found there. But this couple, they schedule an appointment, and they actually go to the people's house.
That's
I can tell
really
you that is not going to work for me with my kids. I would love it to, but I think for me, a Zoom call would be awesome.
yeah. And that's
that way,
yeah.
I'm still getting the face-to-face, but my kids can be playing outside and not damaging someone's house. So.
Right. Yeah. You don't want to take your kids. Yeah.
And they're with me all the time, so.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of going to them, and then that way you can kind of, you're actually showing them how to use the diffuser and everything, like, right there. You're kind of in their comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. But the Zoom thing is really good too.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's whatever works best for you.
And I think it depends on where they are. If they're far away.
Oh, yeah.
That's not going to be a possibility.
It's not, yeah.
So the next part of the game plan workbook, they wanted you to write out the times that you could consistently teach each week and the hours that you could dedicate to following up and doing mailing. And so they really wanted you to really be intentional about looking at your calendar and seeing those days of the week that you don't have as much planned, that you could set that side of time specifically for your business. And so for me, Sunday, Monday, Friday, Saturday. So the beginnings and the ends of the week are good for me. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've got Zumba and Awana and after school, and it just never is going to work. So that was helpful for me to say, and I kind of knew that by looking at my calendar that I created. So those would be the days that really work for me to set aside. Now, follow up, I could do that pretty much any day as long as it was later in the evening or at lunch. Lunchtime would be a good time for me. So that was my schedule. What about you guys?
I like that the Hinterkopf couple, they said that it was half an hour. Didn't they say something like that? That they were scheduling, they were going to offer half an hour. I like that because it's kind of showing them like, hey, I'm not going to take up your whole evening. And I have time that I need to respect too. So, I've got other things to do. So I think that's nice. And I think that that's just, a little less like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like very much. Like people are like, oh yeah, half an hour. Yeah, that sounds good. Like anybody can do that,
But if you're driving to their house, you've got to factor in drive time there and back as well.
Yeah, and also I think too, like at their house, it would be easier to like end up staying longer, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. The Zoom thing might really be a good thing to offer.
Or FaceTime, or you know, the live chat
You
feature.
can just ask them, say, which do you prefer? You know? See, I can do either. I've done either, you know.
Yeah, they all work well. So,
and honestly, it's so important because I can't remember if I've told y'all, but I tell this story a lot now because it really hit home for me. The very first girl that bought a kit from me back in 2015 or whenever I first got started, she bought a kit, and I just assumed that she knew how to use it, and I wasn't really trying to do the business. I didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't really follow up, and I never really saw her very often, so I didn't follow up or anything. And a year and a half later, she told me that she didn't know how to use her diffuser.
Wow.
And she'd had that kit for a year and a half and wasn't diffusing. And I couldn't figure out, like, she was in my Facebook group. She was watching all my posts. And I finally reached out to her and I was like, hey, how's it going? You know, how are you liking your oils? Like, cause I was learning more. We were doing the Operation Silver Bootcamp, and I was like learning more about how to follow up and stuff. And she was like, yeah, they're good. She was like, I feel really stupid for asking this question. And then she told me she didn't know how to use her diffuser. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, don't feel stupid. I was like, I feel so bad I didn't reach out to you. I just assumed. And she was like, do you drop the oils through that little hole in the top? And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, and she was like, does it need water? And I'm like, no, I know that diffuser comes with instructions. And she could have busted out those instructions if she wanted to. But she's the kind of girl that I think she needs somebody to teach her. Like, she's scared she's going to mess it up. She's kind of a perfectionist. So, you know, that just taught me, like, people do not know what they're doing. Not all the time. I mean, unless they are, you know, like me, I didn't have any friends that used oils. I had to educate myself. I was on YouTube, on blogs, constantly learning how to use the oil. I mean, I just didn't know. So I had to teach myself. But there's a lot of people out there that are just sitting there not knowing what to do. And they don't know where to look for resources.
Yep, that's a very, very good point, because it's true. All right, so I don't know how many times she said it thus far in the workbook. We're only in chapter 10. And this is an assignment, again, about planning your classes. So she is really making sure that we know that's the bread and butter here. We have to have our classes. And so she wants us to hold ourselves accountable. She asked, how many hours a week can you commit to your business for classes, following up, mailing things, whatever that looks like. And then she wants us to go even deeper beyond our hours. And for the next 12 weeks, write down the dates of our classes. So not even just saying, oh yeah, I'm going to have these classes. What are the dates? She wants you to be super intentional with that. And so for me, I didn't have all the dates planned out, but like I showed y'all before, I have my calendar for available dates, so I know when to fill them up. I know which days to fill. So I've got my 3 months ready, but not all of the slots are full yet.
But you've got a pretty packed schedule coming up for April.
I do, yeah. I've got a class on the 1st. I've got a class on the 21st, the 22nd, and then I have the Herb Festival on the 29th and another class on the 30th. So yeah, I do. I have a good calendar going for April. And then last night we talked about doing the speed oiling at the beginning of May.
Yeah, Jesse, did you watch last night's?
I didn't post it.
Oh, you didn't? You always post it.
I know, but I told y'all all the issues we were having with John David last night. So
Oh, yeah.
afterwards, I got off and I went to bed and talked to Jonathan about what we were going to do with my.
Froze up again.
Yeah.
Okay. You froze up again, girl. Huh?
Yeah, I'll post them both up. But anyway, so Jesse, last night, we talked about wanting to do speed oiling at all of our locations and helping each other out at those events. And so our first one, we're going to do May 13th at 6 o'clock somewhere in Louisa. And I don't know where yet, but that's kind of the plan so far, is to figure out a place in Louisa. And of course, you know, all the Louisa people need to be bringing people. But for you traveling, or for Kirsten traveling, or Jenny traveling, don't feel like you have to come by yourself. If you have somebody that wants to ride with you and keep you company on the drive, and, you know, try to bring them, because that's an opportunity for you to sell kits as well. Or train a business builder. You know, if there's somebody on your team that wants to participate.
Yes, I should ask my friend Jamie. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, so train somebody, have them participate, and that's just a good way to do it. So that is the only thing that I have really on the books. Besides, I have the Lewis Ginter, the Botanical Garden vendor show. At the beginning of May. So I have 2 things on my May calendar. 3. I have a Forest Green Farms vendor thing too. But I need more classes, not vendor shows. I need classes.
Jesse, I know that, so your last class, like, how many people did you have come? Was it 2 or 3? 2?
I was supposed to have 7, and 4 people canceled the day of. 4 of them canceled, like, within an hour of the class.
Yeah.
Yep.
It happens. It happened to me and Lindsay.
It's very typical. That's why they tell you that people actually come. So if you invited 10, then in theory only 5 would come.
How many did you invite? I'm curious.
Oh, I think about 20.
Okay.
I think.
So
around 20.
Yeah.
And what was your process of inviting them? Like, were you personally contacting them, or was it just?
I was personally contacting them. A couple people I knew were interested beforehand. I would send them the invitation and let them know I sent them the invitation. Like, hey, I set a date. But then a couple people that I thought would be interested, I contacted, and then when they said yes, then I would invite them. So
you had 2 people come, and 1 person bought a kit, right?
No.
Somebody bought a kit through your mom, right?
Today, somebody got a kit through your mom.
What? Today? I didn't see that.
I thought I saw your mom's name pop up on my oily tools today.
I saw, somebody signed up under your mom, Jesse. Didn't they? Your mom got a new enrollment.
No.
I'm going to look.
Okay, tell her to go out.
I did see a couple days ago, someone
sign up as a retail.
Oh, yes. Where did it go? Sorry, I'm trying to go back to the video now. Someone signed up under me as a retail, and then I moved them, but I don't remember where I moved them to. But they didn't buy anything. But I think Kirsten's friend's sister-in-law got a kit.
Okay. And did she place her on your mom's team?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I still think it wouldn't have come up as an alert if
So Kendall Gibson is under your mom, and Christine King. So that's not somebody that came to your class?
No. Mm-mm.
So how do you feel like your class went?
I feel like it went fairly well. It was just my mom and then my mom's friend who, I mean, from growing up.
Okay.
And so I was really comfortable with both of them. So I almost felt like it was a practice run.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
and it went well, and it went long because I told them if you want to ask questions, and I felt like if it was a bigger class, it may not have gone that long just because we're chatting a lot in between me, like script and talking about the oils in the starter kit. So
it's more like conversation, because I taught a class at the natural store here in Stanton, and it ended up being my mom and 2 other women, and one of the women had to leave like in the middle of it. So I guess she was expecting it to be really fast. But see, this was back, I didn't have a script. I was just winging it, and I had notes, and it was just way too long. It was way too much information, way too long. But that was my first time. So were you reading Sarah's script, or were you doing something different?
I was reading her script, but then for like going over the oils in the starter kit, I made my own slideshow and like my own points for it.
Good.
Okay. So have you planned another class?
Yes, I have one because I had a couple friends asking me about one, like a fun one.
A fun one. What do they mean by that?
People wanted that one.
They're all fun.
Yeah. Well, like they wanted a make and take. So I'm doing and people like asked me to do it, like people in college and like young adults.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, this will be a good way to introduce it to them because it's something, you know, they may think like, oh, I don't want to like go to a one-on-one class.
Yeah. You can squeeze that in there, right though, Lindsay?
Yes.
Squeeze that. Yeah, it's like a make and take, but you got to teach them about oils. You got to teach them something. So yeah.
But the thing is, I like have all my recipes and I have like almost all the ingredients, but I like set a date that people should like prepay by.
Yeah.
That nobody has paid.
Uh-oh.
So, did I freeze?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all freezing tonight. It's cold outside. Okay, so you do have a date set or not?
I do, yeah.
You do? Okay, when is it?
Next Friday night.
Okay.
But you said they haven't.
Oh, go ahead.
They haven't paid yet?
No, a lot of people asked me about it and said they wanted to come, and then as of right now, only 2 people are saying they can come, and I personally contacted both of them about like paying for it, and it's only $10. Like I'm charging just for what I'm doing, but neither of them have paid yet. So
Lindsay, does Summer charge like beforehand, or does she charge like at the door?
I don't know the answer to that.
They might sell tickets or something like that, and then people pay like when they get there. But the thing is you need to know how many people are coming so you can know how many supplies to get.
Because last time I thought like, so I can't buy enough stuff. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Again. Oh, I can't buy enough stuff for like a certain amount of people and then not have them show up.
Yeah, because you'll be out of pocket.
Yeah. Which I may just not do a make and take again.
Well, we were talking last night, because when you go back to watch the boot camp from last night, we were saying they're really not productive in enrollments. You know, it's fun. People like to come and make and stuff, but it's not going to produce, it's not going to produce the results for your business that you need to grow it.
What if you did a fun class that was, maybe you just call it something else, like you title the class something else.
I think I may still do, like if they don't pay, like obviously not cancel it, but still do a make and take, but do a make and take with stuff that I already have, so I don't have to like,
or stuff that's like dirt cheap, like Epsom salts and some oil,
Or make them your own stuff. Like maybe for a make and take, you give them an ingredient list of things that they need to bring.
Yeah.
So that instead of charging for the class, you say,
that's a great idea.
You're going to need a jelly jar. You're going to need a cup of Epsom salt.
You'll provide the oils, and they bring everything else.
They bring their ingredients.
That's a great idea, Lindsay. I like that.
Do you think people would actually go and buy the stuff though?
Yeah, if they want to make it for themselves, and then you don't need to charge, right, Lindsay?
Yeah,
You can't charge for the oils. So yeah, and plan to have I don't know if you drink wine or whatnot, but wine or coffee and just some peppermint brownies or some sort of food, or like we've had people make like guacamole with the lime vitality. And that's super yummy. That's good with a glass of wine. Just make it really simple but still fun.
Yeah.
And I like that, Lindsay, about bringing your own supplies. For our last coffee table class at Lindsay's house, I did sort of a project. I don't know, but I just told people to bring a box of Kleenex, and then we did the essential oil infused Kleenexes. But everybody brought their Kleenex box. I was really surprised. I didn't see anybody bring them. I thought everybody had forgotten them, and then everybody started whipping them out, and I was like, oh, awesome. You guys paid attention and actually brought them. So yeah, I think that could really work.
And especially if you weren't doing a lot of projects, if you did 2 projects and they were somewhat similar, then I think that could very well be the ticket to not having. Plus, then you know who's there to really. If they're not going to show up, you're not out any money. And if they're coming, they'll be serious about bringing stuff because they're not going to show up to a make and take empty-handed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
that's way less prep for you and less time, spent.
So all you would need to do is maybe make an ingredient list for your make and take. And then you could have recipe cards for the people so that while you're going through, they're making their projects following their recipes, you can talk about the health benefits of either their oil or why you use Epsom salt or whatever your project is, and throw in a make and take while you're just kind of filling out, or not make and take, and a one-on-one class while they're actually putting everything together. It might work.
I like it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So Sherry, what about you?
Have you planned a date, Sherry?
No.
No. One of these nights you're going to say yes.
I know. I'm going to surprise everyone.
She's going to say, I don't have just one class planned. I have 4.
We'll stick with one first.
I know. Hey, I hear you. I'm just excited that I have one class planned for April. I'm like, yay, go me. I'm like, Lindsay's like, you're pathetic.
Start with lunch date. Start with a lunch date. Talk to one of your coworkers and
yeah.
I have one of those next week.
Yay!
Yeah, that's right. With a girl that wanted to come to your class.
Yeah, it's my cousin. And
Okay.
she wanted to have a baby, and I think that's what triggered her interest. So
she just had a baby, or she's about to have a baby?
She's about to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. There's do you have that Gentle Babies book? Am I freaking? There's a book called Gentle Babies.
This is the Gentle Babies book.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that would be really good. When are you meeting her? Next week?
A week from today.
A week from today.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you have Amazon Prime or something like that. If you can get that book, or just
Mm-hmm.
tell her about it. We could message you a picture of it so you can just at least show it.
It's on Joyfully Infused under resources.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
But that's a really good book for pregnancy, childbirth, and for babies. So all 3 kind of stages. And Lindsay, where did we hear this? That when you're doing a lunch date with somebody, to sit on the same side of the table as they do, not across from each other, because it's less threatening.
Yeah, so that was actually in Eric Hudson's conflict management.
Yeah.
It didn't have anything to do with teaching a class, but it was more on connecting with people and making things very inviting. And that was the suggestion, was anytime you have a conflict, never talk from across the table, sit on the same side. So it's more uniting, but it would be the same concept if you were doing a class, I think, even.
I think so too, because I did a lunch date one time and we were across the table and she ended up not getting a kit. So I'm thinking maybe that was why.
Well, it's less like an interview. It feels like a lot of times when you're sitting across from somebody, you're almost feeling like you're in an interview if you're asking.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like, because you're constantly like making the eye contact and stuff. And it's like, I'm just trying to show you these oils, like, so yeah, it made it a little more like I was nervous. I think if we were on the same side of the table, it would have been better.
When you do do you bring, well, I'm probably going to bring some oils.
I bring my whole kit.
Okay. I was thinking about that, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
But she first wanted to go to a really crowded restaurant, and she's like, it's really loud and crazy at lunchtime. And I was like, oh, I don't know. But then we ended up switching plans. So now we're going to a bigger place that is not as crazy. So I will feel like it will be more relaxed.
Yeah. And I've places like Panera. That's kind of good. Like places with high booths, so you can't see a lot of people. That's always good. It feels a little more private.
But still, even if you had it at a crowded restaurant, people are going to see it. And you never know who might say, what is that? Or your waitress that says, man, what are y'all doing? That's pretty neat.
Yeah, because you do it at Roma's.
Yeah, I do. And even when I'm at Roma's, I plug in the diffuser. I do. Yeah. If there's a plug near me, that diffuser's getting plugged up.
What do you diffuse in a restaurant?
Peppermint. Yeah, because they said that's the oil that catches people's attention.
And it's true, because that's what we diffused at our bridal show. And I'm telling you, people are coming from across the room. And I put 20 drops in there.
We had a big space. That was a huge conference.
It was a big space, yeah.
But it's true. I mean, I feel like that one really gets people's attention, and
it's refreshing.
And everybody knows the smell of peppermint.
Yeah. It's not an odd, what is that? Yeah. It's very recognizable.
Yeah. So I do peppermint, but, and if you don't have a place for the diffuser, put some oils on before you go there.
Stress away.
Put on your stress away. Put on something that.
And who's Kaya or Kia? Kaya. She says she takes oils and douses them in her hand and then throws them all over her body before she goes to place. I was like, that's a good idea. I never even thought about doing that. So now I do that too.
Yeah.
I mean, put them in your hair and you want to be smelling oily.
Yeah, whatever you can do to draw attention to the oils is awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so
got off on a little side path there.
We're down to the last 4 minutes before we run out of time. And so is there anything else that really stood out to you in this chapter? Anything in particular? For me, it was consistency.
Yeah.
It says consistency is essential to every part of your business, but it's especially crucial to follow up. You need to be consistently following up after each class, or you won't see the rewards of all your efforts. And I thought that was so good, because think of how much time and effort and energy we're putting into preparing for the class, hosting the class, and then you do it. And if you don't follow up, you're not keeping that momentum. And that's definitely an area that I have not been good at, is following up after a class. And
also too, just from another point of view on that, I think it's also in a way telling the person that got the kit, okay, you got your kit, I'm done with you. I made my money off you, I'm moving on. And that's not right. I mean, we're there. We are not there for the money. We're there to help them. And yeah, we want to grow our business, but we're there to help guide them into the lifestyle part of it. The kit is just the first baby step.
Yeah.
So if we just wash our hands as soon as they get their kit, then we have not helped them at all. And I'm telling you, that's just one thing that I learned with my friend Jessica, the one that waited 1.5 years to learn how to use her diffuser. Because now she's on Essential Rewards. She's placing orders every month. She placed a really big order this month. And I'm like, what if I had never reached out to her?
Mm-hmm.
Because she obviously didn't feel comfortable coming to me.
Now, isn't Jessica?
I had to reach out to her.
Isn't she your new business builder?
No, that's Jamie.
Jamie.
Yeah, that's my friend Jamie. No, this is a girl named Jessica.
Okay.
So.
And then Sherry, you said the 3-10-30 follow-up system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I
think
that.
It's really, really good. But I guess you would need to do 3 days. Would it be 3 days after they buy their kit, or
after they get their kit? Because nothing's happened after they buy. They haven't gotten it yet, right?
Yeah, unless you just want to follow up and say, hey, I'm thinking about you, and make sure that you get XYZ resource before your kit comes in, so that we can have something to reference when.
Okay, I have a question. When do we want to start sending the welcome emails? The series of 8 emails for all new members.
I send them that night.
You do? Because I've been sending them when people get their kit.
I send them beforehand so that people can start reading before their kit arrives, so they feel a little bit more empowered.
Yeah, so they know more about what's going on when they actually get their kit. Okay, I just wasn't sure what.
And for me, a lot of it is just remembering. If I don't do it right away, I feel like I kind of forget to do something.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's something that we need to make, and we're less than a minute, but we need to do a checklist, a when someone enrolls checklist. Okay, boom. We've talked about Joyfully Infused. We've talked.
Well, she said she has those 3x5 cards, but I mean, we could make them ourselves. But
these are follow-up cards versus a checklist of, did we send them the email? Did we tell them about Joyfully Infused? Did we do?
Yeah, we need to do that, Lindsay, for our team so that everybody knows and we're all being consistent and doing the same stuff.